Jazzcast Pros.
Welcome to the Healthy Illness Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Marie. Healthy Illness is all about helping you build healthier relationships while living with mental health conditions. On today's episode, we will be talking about clearing the plate and the steps you can take when your plate is too full with all of your commitments, all of the things you've said yes to. How do you go back and say no? So by the time we're done here, you'll have that plan. Before we dive in, I want to just say thank you to ICA, the International Child Advancement Organization. And this is the humanitarian award that I was awarded. Thank you. I was not expecting it. And I'm so honored to have been recognized by ICA. And they do work in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and here in Western New York, ensuring that youth are able to achieve all that they desire. So really honored to be able to have spent time with them. This is our first episode back after the Aligned Entrepreneur Podathon in Rochester. Big shout out to WXXI, Jazzcast Pros, and the other folks on the Jazzcast Pros network. We had a good time in Rochester, recording live in the studio. Fabulous. And then, last week we posted the live podcast recording. So you get to hear the conversation that we had live. So shout out to Dr. Latricia Davis and Deidre Trueheart for being a guest on the Healthy Illness Podcast. And so I'm in this place right now. I'm in what's called the GRIP. I've learned about the GRIP through the leadership classes that I'm in. The Health Foundation for Western and Central New York has this Health Leader Fellowship program. And it's an 18-month program. You have to apply and be interviewed and then selected after you go through the committee. And you spend 18 months working on yourself as a leader. And so it's a room full of leaders, CEOs, COOs, CHOs, CROs, executive directors, program managers of large programs, entrepreneurs even, everyone engaged in health work in some way. So this room full of people, there's 40 of us throughout Western and Central New York, I think about 40, 48, I think. And you go through this 18-month process of learning to lead and learning to lead in a room of leaders. It's easy to lead when you have a bunch of followers, but how do you lead when you're in a group of leaders? So all that to say, because of the assessments and learnings and trainings that I've been through in this program, I have recognized that I'm in what's called the GRIP. And it's like this place of high stress. And you start acting kind of contrary to your core work personality or just personality when you're in the GRIP. And I noticed that it was happening, and talked to my mom and a couple other folks, and like my plate is too full. And so I realized that this happens often enough that I have a system in place to be able to determine what needs to stay on my plate, what needs to come off. And so I'm at that place right now. And so what I do is, and I'm, encouraging you to try it if you struggle, right, when being in this weird kind of overcrowded plate place. My mom said it wasn't a plate anymore, it was a platter or like a baking pan or chafing pan or something. But she said I've passed the full plate stage. She might be right. I'm not going to say she's not. But I know that there's a lot on my plate that needs to come off, or I need to adjust how I deal with it. And so I start with a list of all of the things that I'm responsible for, all of the things that I do, all of the roles that I have in places that I show up. That's work, like my 9-to-5 work, this work, doula work, church work. I got 4 jobs straight out the gate. And in listing out even those major buckets of work, I need to list out all of the different organizations. But even within them, are there commitments that I have that need to be broken out more? Give you the example of church. Hey, Impacting Love Global Ministries. And so I am a member. And so I go to church every Sunday, most Sundays. I also am responsible for the AV. So that's 2 ways I show up at church. And 3, Bible study. And I'm often in charge of leading Bible study. So that's 3 roles that I have just in that one place. In addition to sometimes leading Bible study, I need to study in order to be able to lead Bible study. Can't just show up and be like, let's figure this out together. I mean, I can, but even that takes planning and studying it, right? So that's four commitments I have for one organization. That's a lot. It's a small church, so we don't have an usher board and a ministry board and a auxiliary board. And I mean, this is 4, but it could easily be 14. Not the youth group minister, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a big section and takes up a lot of a person's life, but it's often minimized into just, I'm a member at this church. Oh, that's just a couple hours on a Sunday. Is it? All right. So using that example, begin to look at your life and list out all of the things. I just use regular chart paper. I'm trying a new technique this time around. GoodNote. I don't know if you have used GoodNote before, but it's on my tablet and it's all digital, right? So trying to try new things to see how that will work for me. But it does allow me to add to the list and go through it and work on it when I have time, because I don't have to carry my notebook with me or like a big chart paper or sticky note, kind of situation. So add all of your things. When I add my 9 to 5 work, it's that, but it's also the after hours work that I have to do. So I am on a board related to that work, managerial work, and then several community advisory boards. Some meet monthly, some meet quarterly. I need to break all of those out because those are not always happening during my work hours. Even if it is there other work I need to do for that particular thing? Because those are also kind of outside of a part of my job duties, but not a part of my core job duties. So if I need to dial back what I'm doing at work, I know where I need to start. So write out your whole list. Kids and responsibilities to kids, partners, parents. Do you need to, take, your mom, your dad shopping, once a week? Like, add all of those things. I'm still in physical therapy, so I'm adding my physical therapy appointment, but also I have to do my physical therapy work at home every day. Some exercises require me to do it once a day. Some require me to do them twice a day. It all depends. So I need to add physical therapy, the appointment, but also physical therapy, the in-house work. I'm in a Foundations of Mindfulness class at Brown University. And the goal of the class is to give you the foundation that you need to be able to teach mindfulness. I have taught mindfulness and have provided, mindfulness exercises and incorporated it into some of the work that I did with my mental health coaching program. But the more that I learn, the more I feel like I need to learn and explore. And so I'm taking this class to be able to give me the true foundation of how to move, how to groove in this space. I just quickly, and we're going to get back to it, but I'm really enjoying the class. So I just want to share with you that we are weaving in a understanding of trauma and how to not be the cause of trauma in someone's mindfulness journey. And so not just the words you use, but intention. And there's a lot of things that go into understanding that traumatic piece. Black and brown folks, women, we have experienced a lot of trauma. And so I want to be sure that I'm doing what I need to do as a person inviting people into this mindfulness space to ensure that I'm not out harming folks. So more to come, because we're going to roll out some stuff, I think, in January around mindfulness. And so I need to do my mindfulness practices. Now I'm in the class that should really be on my list regardless, but I probably would have left it off. I know myself. I probably would have left that off of my list, and now I don't have to worry about it because I'm in the class. And the class, because I'm in class twice a week for many hours, is front of my, like, I know that is a time commitment. I can now add my mindfulness to practice to that time commitment. So mindfulness class, all of the reading. So that's homework, and the mindfulness practice itself. So that's 3 things for the mindfulness class: show up to the class, the homework, and the actual mindfulness practice. I think you get it. All right. So I go through all of the things, add as much as I can. I try not to like spiral out of control and get really into the minutia of like hours spent. But if it's something that I spend a chunk of time on and that time is meaningful, I write it on the list. Self-care, appointments, all of that stuff needs to go on the list. And so the first thing I do is if there's anything on that list that I don't know why it's on there and I don't know why I'm doing it, I've identified some quick notes. No, I don't explain nothing. Thank you. Enjoyed myself. I'm not doing this no more. So that's your easy no's. And let me tell you right now, there's no quick fix. There's no, let me just, grind it out for another 3 years. And then if you're at the point where you're recognizing that there's too much on your plate, grinding something out for years to come, then I don't know that you're really being true to the process of trying to clean your plate. Don't forget your commitments to your friends and family, kids, parents, partners, all that stuff needs to go on there. And so highlight those things I do for others. And then you have two categories in that case. You have things you have to do for others and things that need to be done for others, meaning it doesn't matter who does them. That you need to do really has to be it has to be you, not you prefer it to be you. Those are not the same. So things you have to do and things that have to be done. You want to separate and either put them in separate buckets, depending upon how you're doing this. Highlight, and then the highlighted colors mean something. So you want to do that part. And then you want to start looking at the rest of the things. Your self-care, non-negotiable. Your hygiene, non-negotiable. Work, really non-negotiable. Unless it is, and that's a different conversation, right? But just generally speaking, work is a non-negotiable. You got to eat. You got to keep the lights on. Hopefully keep a roof over your head. Those are the non-negotiables. You want to make sure you highlight the non-negotiables. Things that without them, you will cease to exist, right? Like you will have a problem if you don't take care of yourself. You'll have a problem if you don't have no job. You'll have a problem if fill in the blank. Those are all one kind of bucket. Those are going to be the things that you stick to. Like you need to do those things. Then you have your like social events, that group of social commitments that are not integral to your life. Like you won't be able to function as a human being without doing these things, but things that are important to you, that you're doing them. So your time is important. You know that you value your time. So this thing is important to you. Otherwise it wouldn't be on the list to begin with, or you threw it out in that first batch. And so you need to go through those things. Is something timing out? Like, is this something you can rock out with for a couple of weeks? So for example, I'll use myself because this is how I did my list. My class ends at the end of November. My leadership program ends at the end of November. Doesn't make sense to quit either one of those things or pause. It doesn't mean you quit, but perhaps you're putting it on pause. If I were in a 4-year teacher program to get my bachelor's in education and mindfulness, I might need to put a pause on that if it's detrimentally impacting me, right? Like I'm going to finish this semester, and after this semester, I'm putting this degree on hold. Very different than I'm purposely in a short-term program, and that short-term program ends in a couple weeks. Hope that makes sense. So in my case, the 2 programs that end in November, I can make it that long. I am a doula. I have a client due in November. I have a client due in December. So being a doula is on the list, but there are additional programs within the doula organization I work with that I'm also assigned to. So that's extra time. The clients that are birthing soon, even though their particular journey will be over, my work isn't over. So even though someone's giving birth in December, giving birth in November, I will still have the same amount of work to do come January. That those 2 births are a part of my working time, but time will be spent doing the work regardless. And so I did not break out how many clients I have. I break out the doula business. I break out front seat life business. And then they need to go in their proper place. How much time do you spend on them? Are these all worthwhile adventures for you? Do you need to say no to some of them? You are the only one that can answer that question, but now you're aware and you know exactly what to look for and exactly how much time a thing takes and if it's something that you really want and need to do. Once you have all of that, again, this is not a magic pill situation. You have to do the work to be able to say, yes, I'm going to stick with this. No, I see now that this thing that may be very great is not something I have time for. I need to say no. I need to say no, thank you. I need to resign. I need to fill in the blank with how you get that off your plate. Legally, you may be bound to finish out contracts and that kind of stuff. That's something different, but then you can prepare for that ending, that work ending, that contract ending, whatever the case may be. And from there, you get to add back to your plate. Once you have and identified all the bits and pieces of what's on the plate and their importance, you can then place the things on your plate in a way that makes sense to you. Anything left over, you're saying goodbye to. You may, get all the pieces on there that fit, and they're like, actually, I really want to take this piece off and add that piece back. Totally cool. It's your plate. You decide how and who gets to stay on the plate. And for everything that does not fit, because you've taken inventory, you can now say no. And that's okay. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain anything unless you're legally required to give a reason, but then just give the reason that makes the most sense, for that situation. But outside of that, you're done. You have just cleared your plate and filled it back up with only the things that will fit. It's like, yeah, that was so easy. It's not. It may be very difficult for you to go through all of that and come to some decisions and conclusions about what can stay and what can't. And I would love to hear from you to know which things you took off and which things you took on and how this process worked for you. All right. Catch me on Instagram occasionally, Facebook sometimes, and nowhere really in between. Listen, if you are in need of someone to talk to, if you are in danger of harming yourself or someone else, if you are having thoughts of suicide or want to take your life, please dial 988 or head to your nearest emergency room. 988 is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They are there to answer your call. So please dial 988 if you are in crisis mode. If you're looking for services, you don't know where to go, you don't know who to call, if you dial 211, it's a nationwide network of resources. They can look in your community. You'll actually be connected to someone in your community that will be able to give you access to the resources in your own community. Or if you're calling for a loved one who may live somewhere else, you want to help them out, you give them that location and they'll give you a list of resources that you tell them that you're looking for. All right? Until the next time, clear that plate and be the light.